Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses here on this Friday afternoon. I am the Big A, Anthony Stabile. Don't adjust your dials. Andy Serling did not get bitten by a blowfish. I'm filling in for Andy, who's on vacation. He will be back on Wednesday. Jonathan Kinchin, you see him often on America's Day at the Races. He'll be on later on today and all weekend long. Jonathan will join me in just a few moments for this 8-race card. Sorry we had to cancel on you yesterday. Blame Mother Nature. Winds were whipping here over Big Sandy. I was here doing HRRN yesterday afternoon, and I can tell you I would have probably got blown off a horse yesterday, so I could just imagine what would happen to our more diminutive jockey colony if they were on horseback yesterday afternoon. Track has gotten a great opportunity to dry out. Fast and good to start the day, though, with these winds persisting this afternoon. Wouldn't be too surprised if we got to firm by the end of the day. Got a carryover of just under 90,000 waiting for you in the Empire 6 that starts in race 3 on the 8-race card, which we'll get to in a minute. But first, we got to send you over to Naira Bets, and you got to get yourself a brand new Naira Bets account. If you don't have one already, TISC. Fall 19 is the promo code, bet200 to get 200. Get over to nairabets.com for a new account and for more details. You can fund that brand new Naira Bets account. You can fund your current Naira Bets account as well through Apple Pay now. It's fast, easy, and more importantly, it is secure. It's now available. nairabets.com/Apple Pay for more information. You can play the late pick 5 over at Belmont on Fridays. You got 2 more opportunities to take advantage of this promotion. 10 times the points. Late pick 5 starts in race 4 this afternoon. Again, 10 times the points. Tomorrow, I'm going to miss tomorrow, unfortunately. I'm going to be down in Maryland for Maryland Million Day. Empire Showcase Day tomorrow, 12:20 first post, 11 a.m. the gates open. Fantastic day of racing. We focus on the great state of New York, the 3rd and final New York Bred Day of the Year, Empire Showcase Day, the original all afternoon. 8 stakes for the New York Breds, 3 other New York Bred races, 11-race card tomorrow afternoon. Maggie Wolfendale and David Aragona will take you through that card on Talking Horses. And the Breeders' Cup Bash is just about 12 days away. Wednesday, October 30th. It's a Belmont Stakes away, about a mile and a half from beautiful Belmont Park over at King Umberto's restaurant. Listen to myself, Maggie, and my buddy on HRN, Steve Grabowski, will handicap all 14 Breeders' Cup races. $80 a ticket. It includes a 4-course meal at one of my favorite Italian restaurants in the world. Past performances for the Classic, as well as a souvenir bag. Portion of the proceeds go to both Old Friends Farm and the Belmont Child Care Association. Contact me. The preferred method of payment is PayPal, thebigAStabile@AOL.com. If you don't PayPal, contact me via email at thebigAStabile@AOL.com, and we will make other arrangements. Without further ado, been looking forward to this since I found out about it earlier this week. My man JK, Jonathan Kinchin, what's happening, bud?
Man, I'm just trying to stay warm up here. Obviously, it's chilly. I had to change up my wardrobe a little bit for this week.
Listen, Andy's not here. I can't be hearing about it's cold. Andy's not here. He usually complains about the cold. I don't want to hear about it being cold up here. It is a little windy up here. And the winds have persisted all day. Oh, the last really 3 days, 2.5 days. This main track, if you were here on Wednesday, and I was here till about 6 o'clock wrapping up Red Brand Radio on Wednesday night, the way this track looked on Wednesday, and most of the day yesterday, it is remarkable, the shape, the job that Glenn and Brian and the entire crew do to get this track in the shape it is in today. I mean, I have to tip the proverbial cap to them.
No, it looks good. I'm looking forward to a great day of racing. And like you mentioned, we had a lot of rain Wednesday night, quite a bit of rain. And I think the wind is definitely helping get the track dry. And like you mentioned, I think the turf course probably should firm up quite a bit before the end of the card.
Tell you what, the lack of rain through the summer, these courses are in sensational shape. Could have used that rain. Everything looks good to go. We're on the turf all day long. I know quite a few people were surprised by that. I was not, because I know what a great job we do here. And again, Glenn and Brian deserve a lot of the credit with their staff. A fantastic job here with both the main track and the 2 turf courses. So we are fast and good to start today. We got that carryover. We'll talk about it a little bit later on in the Empire 6. We'll kick things off, though. The early pick 5 starts with $75,000 maiden claimers. They'll go 7/8 on the Widener turf course. This race stayed together, field of 9. Kind of a wide open board is what I'm forecasting here. It's what David Aragona, who makes our morning line, forecasted here. He made the 6 teachable moment, the 5-2 favorite. And I'd have to imagine that's going to stay pretty current at real-time odds. I can't imagine there being a huge favorite in here, John.
No, look, I think the conversation had to start with Road to Meath. You know, obviously, was he going to take a lot of money? I have a hard time with a horse like this for Chad Brown taking this long to get to the turf. If he was a turf horse, probably would have seen the turf already. And so I'm a big believer in when you can beat Chad Brown in New York, you have an opportunity to make some money, and that's why I landed on Teachable Moment. I love Mike Maker. I think he's one of the most underrated trainers in the country, especially when he's doing something different. When he claims a horse, tries something different. This would be the second time for Maker, but I thought Teachable Moment ran really well on September 12th, and so that's where I ended up landing. And I don't have Road to Meath anywhere on my ticket. I'm going to try to get him out of the number.
Yeah, I have Road to Meath 4th as well. Yeah, Teachable Moment, and Mike Maker struck again yesterday down in the Sycamore. He claimed Marzo 4.62.5, 2 starts back, stretched him out. Son of Medallia D'Or of a Smart Strike mare, stretched him out yesterday, got the money in the Grade 3. Paid a huge price, $31, I believe, and you know we've seen him do it time and time again. Claim these horses, stretch them out. This one's the reverse. He ran this horse a mile on the 16th last time, and actually cuts Teachable Moment back to 7 furlongs in here. Yeah, if he duplicates his last effort on the cutback, he's going to be salty against this bunch.
I agree, and like I said, when it comes to Maker, when he's changing something, it's usually going to be in the right direction. He's really good at that situation. You mentioned the horse that won at Keeneland. When there's Mike Maker going a mile and a half on the turf, I almost don't even handicap the horse. I just use him.
Auto throwing, yeah.
Yeah.
No question. You're playing pick 4s and pick 5s, the horse is automatic throwing. And he got the money yesterday at 14-1. We both have Bebo in the mix. Bebo ran well. First time off the claim. First time turf, too, for Bruce Brown last time. Took the horse off Todd Pletcher. That's a tough thing to do. Bruce has actually had a little success doing that for this Manhattan Racing stable. My buddy Dave Rary runs Manhattan. This horse ran really well last time out, and if he's another horse, I have him second, you have him third. If he runs back to his last race and Teachable Moment does as well, these two look to have this bunch over a barrel, I would think.
Yeah, one of the reasons I landed on this horse to use is he's drawn outside, he's tactical, so he's going to get a great trip. You know, there's no way, I mean, obviously things can go wrong, but he's going to get a 2-wide, 3-wide trip around there. He won't get any trouble. He's the type of horse that if I was keying a horse underneath, second or third, he's where I would start. He'd be a much better price than some of the other ones. And like you said, you know you're going to get a good trip with him drawn to the outside with that tactical speed. He shouldn't find any trouble from out there.
Talk to us a little bit about the horse you put second, Knockout Punch, who's 15-1 on the morning line, half that right now on the board. We still have an hour and 20 minutes to post time. He's 8-1, figures to drift. He's been claimed out of both of his starts for New Barnes, and now he makes a start for Bob Dunham. Bob got the money with Cirque earlier in the meet at over 50-1. I think the Cirque paid $121, if I'm not mistaken. So Knockout Punch, Joey Martinez, going to be a big price in here.
Yeah, I thought Knockout Punch ran well at Saratoga going 5.5. And one of the things that I've learned playing Naira is the differences in the turf distances, the sprints. To go 5.5 at Saratoga, you go 6 and 7 here. And I think that sometimes when you change those distances for a horse, you can get a different performance. And I thought the horse ran well enough going 5.5. I think that performance was better than it looked. He was 5th, beaten 5, but I thought he ran pretty good that day. And I thought maybe the stretch out to that extra furlong and a half, back sprinting on the turf again, might suit this one well and at a much better price than some of these other 15-1 morning line, 8-1 now. I'd imagine that horse will drift up a little bit.
Yeah, the 7 very quickly done. Castle making his first start since a June layoff. Declan Carroll going to ride this horse, a 5-pound bug who was in Kentucky, coming up here. Richard Migliori has his book, and I don't know if this is Declan's first mount in New York, but he has moved his tack here. He'll be spending the winter here. I saw him walking in this morning. So best of luck to Declan and the MIG and everybody involved. Always good to see some fresh faces here, especially as winter approaches.
Absolutely. A tough colony to break into, but Declan's shown a lot of talent, and obviously the way that the connections that MIG has and how he handled Chris Landeros up at Saratoga this summer, I'd imagine they'd do pretty good together.
Yeah, we'll see how Declan does with Duncastle, 7-2, second choice on the morning line in the opener. Race number 2, more maidens. The state-bred fillies will sprint on the dirt. Field of 8, again, held together in here. This looks like the board will be a tale of two cities. I would imagine the 2, 3, 6, and 7 take a bulk of the money. The rest are pretty much going to be, I don't want to say in the moon, but bigger prices. You've landed on Paradiso for Timmy Hills, first time for the quarter.
Yeah, this horse ran really well as a 2-year-old here at Belmont in October. And one of my favorite angles in racing is when you can find a 2-year-old number. They're running a figure that fits with what the 3-year-olds are running now. So if he can run back or she can run back with a little bit of improvement to that number just based on maturity and almost a year later, if she runs that figure with a little bit of improvement, she'll be tough here. I like that she was drawn outside of the other tactical horses. This racetrack has been, if you had to pick somewhere that you wanted to be, you would want to be wide, not deep down on the rail. And so I think that's going to help her being drawn outside of the other speed.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that bothers me is, well, it's two things really. It's taken her a long time, and her connection's a long time to get her back to the dirt. That's one. Two, she ran well at a time when Timmy Hill's barn in New York was starting to really heat up. So I wonder if the fact that they haven't run her so long, and that wasn't off the turf race, they haven't run her dirt in so long, I'm kind of hoping this isn't a little bit of a desperation move at this point.
The only thing that put me over the edge, I had a lot of those same feelings when I was looking at it, but kept true. The horse that won that race.
Nice filly, Filia.
Absolutely. Came back and won 2 allowance races, first level and second level allowance, with real numbers that made that number look real. So that's one of my favorite things as well, is to look to see if horses in a race are running those figures back or improving them, because that's a way to identify if it was a real number that they earned the first time. And that's why I felt like Paradiso's number that she ran on debut was a real number.
Yeah, she makes a lot of sense in here. Too Many Tails. I have her third, you have her second. Rodrigo Ubilio. Philly has run just once since the end of March. It was in for the quarter last time. She didn't do a lot of running that day, but you almost feel like this bunch might be a little bit easier than the one she faced last time. Peggy Sue came back to win on 4th of July. Yeah, she makes a lot of sense in
Yeah, I don't trust this one that much, but I think the races that she had back in March, she had some excuses there. Wrong part of the racetrack a few times, missed the break a couple of times. Closing into slow paces, lots of excuses kind of mixed in there. So I'm expecting her to run a little bit better. 7-2, we'll see if she takes a lot of money. But I also like that she was drawn outside. You'd imagine that her run will be coming in that part of the racetrack that you've wanted to be here at Belmont so far in the fall.
Yeah. I took Taro Lucci on top, your third pick. One dirt race was 2 back. Prairie Fire came back to win. Condition claiming race here at Belmont earlier this meet. I don't know. She was far back going 5.5. She gets the 6. Like I said, Prairie Fire did come back to win pretty easily, despite not having the easiest go of it at the start. And I don't know. She was, to me, with just a 1 dirt race under her belt, I wanted to give her one more chance. I'll use the 3 of them in the early pick 5. Race 2 also kicks off the early pick 4. Race number 3, and we have that Empire 6 carryover of just under $90,337. I'm very proud of myself doing that math so quickly. From 90K. Wait, if you remember, the only way to take the whole pool down, you have to have the unique ticket, the only ticket in the sequence, and we'll see how it kicks off here. Starter allowance, fillies and mares, going to go 7 furlongs on the turf. The MTOs come out. We have a field of 7. 4 of them come out of the same race, and here it is back on September 29th, right here at Belmont. Same bat time, same bat channel, 7 furlongs, very similar conditions here. And here's Barrica leading the charge through the lane to get the money over. Like I said, 3 other fillies and mares in here.
Yeah, Barrica was my top pick off of this performance. I felt like she was always winning this race no matter what happened. But the important one, I thought my eyes went to the 7 on the outside, a Dixie Twister who was far back. I didn't think this pace was particularly quick. And I always look for who's running late into slow paces. I think it's one of the hidden trips we can see in turf racing. Timeform US really helps kind of find those horses just looking at paper if you're not watching as many replays. But I thought that a Dixie Twister made a lot of sense at a price. But Barrica, to me, I didn't see how she got beat.
Yeah, I wanted to spread a little bit more in here. You mentioned the lack of pace. I'm wondering if Manny Franco just puts Queen Cayenne on the front end from the rail draw in here. They weren't too anxious to go to the lead with a Dixie Twister last time out. I didn't really see anybody else that had any kind of early speed. I mean, and there are some horses in here that we're familiar with. Barrica, who's going to be the favorite. She doesn't have any early speed. China Rider comes from out the back all the time. Annie Rocks comes from out the back. Like I said, a Dixie Twister looked like she was going to be more forwardly placed last time. She wasn't. I would think an aggressive Manny Franco from the rail can maybe just put this filly in front and keep on going today at a decent price.
Yeah, I thought China Rider had that one race at Woodbine where she was a little bit more forwardly placed, and with having Kendrick in here, I thought maybe she would go a little bit. I agree with the horse that you like down on the rail. The issue with her is that it took non-winners of 3 for her to kind of get through there, and I think this race is going to be a little bit more difficult for her.
Yeah, no question about it. She's facing a lot tougher in here. I mean, Barrica runs her race. Barrica's going to win. I just want to take a little bit of a shot with a horse that I thought may have a tactile edge. I want to use all 4 of them, to be honest with you. I thought this race was tough. I even thought Hop on the Bus Gus, who finished second that day. Now, Hop on the Bus Gus was a little bit closer than she usually is last time. I think that worked against her, even though she finished second. I don't think she gave her best effort. I'm hoping they go back to their old tactics and take her a little take her back today. We'll see. I thought it was a really interesting third race. If Barrica runs her race, she'll win. It's just, we see her on a 2-race win streak. When they get to this, to these starter allowance, to these bottom levels and these fillies, she's, what is she, 8? She's 6.
All right.
3 in a row. That would be a pretty remarkable job by Danny Gargan to get her 3 in a row.
And it's sneaky with trainers like Danny Gargan and other guys that excel, and gals that excel in the training. If they can get a horse over without getting claimed and get him eligible for that starter, they can run off a lot of wins. And because, a lot of times people don't like claiming. I don't like betting horses that are claimed off of Danny Gargan, off of Jason Service, off of Linda Rice, Rudy Rodriguez. I don't like betting them, so I know guys don't like claiming off of them. So if you can sneak them in, get eligible for the condition, they can roll off some wins.
Yeah. A lot of people were surprised she wasn't claimed last time. But with the winter coming, she's had a good record at Gulfstream. I was a little surprised as well, but Danny gets her in for this starter, and she'll be a pretty big favorite, I would think. 8-5 on the morning line from David. I'd have to imagine she's even shorter than that. We'll see if she can kick off that Empire 6 again. Just about 90,000 in the carryover pool, 20-cent bet. Oh, got to be the only winner to take down that entire pool. 10 times the points on the late pick 5 today at Naira Bets. It kicks off here in race number 4. Bottom level claimer is going to go 7/8. The boys are going to take to the dirt in here. Caramani cutting back off a couple of 2-turn races. This is him 2 starts back at the old Spa. Going to duke it out with Cowboy Rhythm through the lane here. Caramani, you see him right there in the green. Rajiv Mirage is back aboard today. I thought they were going to get the money this day. This is a tough defeat if you had Caramani this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. And I thought, the problem that I had with this horse in this race is that's kind of the trip you wanted at Saratoga, that kind of outside speed stalking trip, 2 or 3 path right there in that comfort zone where you're in the clear. And I thought last time was the time. I understand if you had him the other day, you're probably a little bit bummed out, but I wouldn't come back here for him in this spot.
All right. Yeah, he's 7-2 on the morning line. I thought he made a little sense cutting back. I put him 3rd. I just wanted him a little bit on the cutback. It looks like the mile and an 1/8, even the mile and a 16th. I know he wins some of these races, but it may just be out of his scope a little. The 7/8 plays well for these horses that come out of the 2-turn races that don't have a tremendous amount of speed but stalk and pounce. We'll see what he can do. I think he'll also be a little bit higher than that 7-2.
How close do you think he's going to be?
I don't know if he's going to be close. I just 4 or 5 lengths off the lead in here, right? I think that might be a little bit easier of a trip for him. With the long run down the backstretch, going 7/8, you have 3.5 furlongs till you hit the turn. I think that might be more suitable for a horse with his running style as opposed to constantly hitting turns, going the two-turn races on the smaller tracks. We'll see. I want to see what he does. He's finished second in his lone start here at Belmont a while ago. We'll see what he does today. We landed on the same horse, Samadhi Sky, who's 4-1 on the morning line for Rob Atras.
Yeah, I thought the layoff race September 2nd was the one that kind of helped me land here. It was 36-1 that day, but ran well enough, got a nice figure. They tried the turf. He ran well enough, turf sprint, and just got beat a length and some change. And then they tried the route experiment. That obviously didn't go right. Cut back here, back to the dirt, 4th out of in a form cycle. I think this horse is going to run much better here. Drawn outside in that perfect spot again that we've talked about where you kind of pretty much have wanted to be for the majority of the meet. And I thought this horse was going to run much better.
When I was looking at this race and this horse in particular, it had a real old school feel to him, right? Like all of the old adages that I remember when I was a kid sitting on the first floor at Aqueduct and the second floor here at Belmont, turf to dirt, long to short, class drop down, like all of those things you heard, the old timers, who you still see some of them. My man Pie's still here plugging away every day. These guys and gals that have been here since I was a kid, getting pushed around here in a stroller. He had a real old time feel to him. Just everything seemed right today. I worry that the price isn't going to be there. I worry that there are a lot of people that are going to gravitate to a horse like this. But again, if you're playing pick 4s and pick 5s and Empire 6s, he'll probably offer a little bit of value. We both had the one Brimstone in the mix. He's the horse that I feel like could get lost in the shuffle in here, and maybe at a price can revert back to some of his old form.
I completely agree. My biggest concern was being down on the inside, but this feels like a horse that's going to be used to kind of get out of there a little bit, be forwardly placed, and if they can somehow get off the rail, not get messed with too much, could win at a really big price. I thought this horse made a lot of sense.
And, I mean, who am I to talk about weight? But he gets to 5 pounds in here. And, you know, as these horses get a little older and they get to the bottom of the barrel, sometimes that weight helps. He's getting anywhere from 5 to 7 pounds from some of his rivals in here. And this is not something I ever talk about. But at this level, with these horses, I think it's something that you got to keep take a little bit of a look at.
No, and I think that they, you know, the form was so dirty going into the last race. I think that's why this horse didn't get claimed. I think if they would have run that race back again or let someone retroactively throw in a tag, this horse would have get claimed off that last performance.
Blame the Thief. David has blamed the Thief 5-2 on the morning line. It's been a while. It's been almost a year since this horse has had his picture taken. He ripped off 2 in a row over at the Big A going a flat mile last fall. I don't want a horse. I mean, can he win? Yeah, he can absolutely win. I put him second, but I don't want to take him at a short price in the win pool.
No, I think the line's right because of the Rudy factor. First time Rudy in first starts, the first time a horse starts with Rudy in his career, 26%. And that goes back 1,100 races. So,
wow.
26%. So I think that's probably part of the reason. Rudy will move a horse up like this when he gets him, and so I think that's probably what it is. But I'm not gonna, you know, 5-2 is too short for me to find out.
Pretty remarkable. How 280 horses first time off the crack for Rudy.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Anybody else?
I thought the 7 made sense.
Okay.
Just kind of get that outside. It's a big drop. The horse has run well in his last 2 races. Had a terrible trip last time, missed a break, and was wide on a day that actually might have been okay to be down on the inside. I thought he made a lot of sense as well to get some pieces here.
Yeah, if you were to say that there's a back class in the field, I think that crown would certainly go to a horse like Sir Ballantyne, who's in for the bottom for the first time I can remember. I know he dabbled in the 16 level once or twice and the 12.5, but I don't remember him being in for the bottom level $10,000 tag.
He was getting taken when he was at that level.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. All right, that's the first 4. Take a quick break, come back. Late pick 4 time when we return here on this Friday edition of Talking Horses.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up at NairaBets.com for a new member bonus.
Talking Horses here on this Friday afternoon at beautiful Belmont Park. I'm the Big A Anthony Stabile, sitting in for the vacationing Andy Serling. Jonathan Kinchin, nice enough to join us for this 8-race card. Race number 5. Back to the turf we go for the 32 life claimers. Mile and a 16th on the inner, starts right on that clubhouse turn as we kick off the late pick 4. Big field of 10 in here. This was, for me, Jonathan, one of the tougher races on the card. I thought you could make a case for 5 or 6 of them in here.
No, I thought this race was tough as well. And there's a horse in here I really wanted to bet, but I couldn't. The 7 Mike's Girl. I kind of liked the idea. I love the idea of, you know, a lot of times we see these horses that go speed and fade going shorter. When they go longer, they don't have to run as fast early, and they have that tactical edge. They can get to the front. I wanted Mike's Girl, but the presence of the 3, what are we calling that one? Pecatonica. I thought that was going to be the problem for Mike's Girl, and so I ended up landing on the 9. A little bit of Stranger Danger showing up from Colonial. I thought that horse ran well, and I thought the horse fits in here with Tiz Princessa.
Yeah, Tiz Princessa came into New York 2 starts back as well. She ran behind Xanthique, and she's another one. She's kind of been keeping better company. She steps in, and we see Declan Carroll aboard this horse as well. So it's going to be a short price. I don't know. I was kind of like you. I felt exactly the same. I wanted to write 7 in front of my PPs here when I was making my selections for this race so badly. But I saw Pecatonica. More importantly, Seductive put the blinkers on the number 5 last time. 46, 10 and change. Never showed any kind of speed like that. And she was on the bill daily too. So I figured maybe be a little more crowded on the front end in here. I wanted horses coming from off the pace. I thought Tiz Princessa made a lot of sense. I worry though, you know, she brokered her maiden for the New York bred tag, and a couple of them in here have. But you wait for them to kind of run back to those races, and they burn an awful lot of money when they don't. And she's a kind of horse where protectively you have to use her. You're starting a late pick 4, using her in the late pick 5. And again, this is kind of like one of those crossroads races because this ends the early pick 4 and early pick 5 as well. So this is one of the more important races if you're a multi-race player like we are. One of the more important races of the day. I want to have some coverage in here because, quite frankly, I don't trust any of them.
No, and look, the reason I ended up landing on Tiz Princessa was Michael Stidham's a trainer there, and you mentioned Seductive, who showed some speed last time. Michael Stidham as well, so I would think you're going to get that, not so much rabbit situation, but more team tactics.
Kind of surround them.
You go forward, we'll take back, and whoever gets the better setup on the day will win. So I think that the pace has got to cook up a little bit with Mike's Girl stretching out, with Pecatonica, and then also with Seductive. So that's why I ended up landing on Tiz Princessa. And actually, I kind of look at these situations sometimes a little bit differently. It's a little bit aggressive. Some people might think I enjoy the punishment, but these are the type of situations where I love singling in these types of spots.
Wow.
Where I can have, because if you can be right in this race, then you'll hit early and late. If you can be right because you can get the coverage that you need in the other ones, now you obviously have to have a good opinion here. I like Tiz Princessa a lot in this spot.
Okay. I think you'll get that 5-2. I can't imagine anybody like the race earlier on the card. I can't imagine anybody being an overwhelming favorite in here. Because I think there's too much to process of, you know, bottom level form for anybody to really want to step out. That's a bold, listen, she's 5-2 on the morning line. People will say, oh, he's picking up. That's a bold move to want to take a real stand in a race like this where I think 6 of these fillies and mares can win.
Well, my favorite thing I like singling in early and late of sequences.
Okay.
Because if you single in the pick 5 and you miss in the first leg, you can come back and play the pick 4. If you single late in the pick 5 and you're alive to one horse, you can bet some other horses to win. You have a lot of options when you can do when you can single on the front ends of those sequences or back end of the sequence.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Anybody else? I wanted to talk a little bit about the horse I put on top, Rossellini. And again, Rossellini, you know, ran that race for the tag against the New York Breds and got the money, and then she just ran against better. I mean, that Stallion Series race with Kid is Frosty and Nico's Dream. Last time out in the sprint, in the start of 50 rather, against Connectivity and August Moon, and more likely than not. Those are better horses. With that pace in there, I want somebody coming from out the back, from off the pace. I just landed on her because, quite frankly, of the horses that I think are going to make up ground in this race, that have a chance to win, she'll be the horse that's the biggest price.
Yeah, the thing that got me off was the fact that she's just not been bet very much. And when Belmont's not getting bet, that usually gives you a little bit of clue. If he's got a run that's going to run, he'll get bet. I thought Ascender down on the rail made a little bit of sense. I thought Manny got to know the horse last time. If you watch that replay in the stretch, she's swishing her tail a little bit. So obviously she wasn't liking something that was happening.
She's a funky filly to ride.
Right, and I think that Manny has maybe figured that out. She'll sit right there in the pocket from that inside position. She'll save ground while the other ones are swooping. And I think she's one that could hit the board at a nice number, while the other ones are probably going to take a little bit more money.
Yeah, she's my infamous 5th pick. I thought Recess as well. Recess came off a couple of tough trips and then got a decent enough trip last time, got out of the maiden ranks. Maybe she's the kind of horse where if she finds the right trip again, and it's so hard to find the right trip with these horses that come from off the pace, especially ones that have been trouble prone in the past. But I've seen this movie too many times where she finds the trip last time, she gets out of the maiden ranks, and then she's 8-9-1 against the 2 Lifes next time out, the winners, and she comes back and wins again, and I have her left off my ticket. I'm not going to let that happen with Recess this afternoon. Race number 6. Another crapshoot, 7/8 for the State Breds. Straight A at the end, no optional claimer attached here. Just 1 scratch out of the body to 4 Barnacle Bill. It allows the lone turf AE, the 13, to draw in. That's Starry Messenger. You could take out the main track onlys on the outside. Nuts for Bolts. Nuts for Bolts is one of these that a lot of people around here like to chase him. I haven't been one of them as of yet. But I'm going to jump on the chase bandwagon today. This horse hasn't won in 2 calendar years. Here he is, out widest of all last time out.
I thought they ran a little bit in front of him here, kind of helped set him up. And I have a thing. I really struggle taking closers in turf sprints, no matter the distance. 7 obviously is much better than 5.5. But I just feel like they always seem to get in trouble. They always seem to, they're pace dependent. There's all these things that you need when these situations come up, and that's why I end up usually trying to find something to be a little bit more forward, and then horses like that beat me, and I'm frustrated.
Yep. I've seen that movie too many times as well. Yeah, another race where I think you can make a case for 4 or 5 of these if you want to even broaden your horizons here. A bunch of them. You landed outside with a horse that makes a lot of sense. 3 Outlaws, he was good last time against Bourbon Mission. He was getting back to the turf for the first time off the claim for Bruce Brown. Bruce took this horse from Brian Lynch, 2 back. This horse ran well at a pretty big price last time.
Yeah, it was tactical towards the end. He was a little bit far out of it. He kind of moved earlier in that spot. He was going 6. Now he can maybe relax, be a little bit closer going 7. He's drawn outside. I know a lot of times people are worried about being wide. I don't mind it so much in turf sprints because it keeps you in the clear. I think turf sprints are won in about 4 strides. In boom, boom, boom. And if you're in a bad spot or you miss those 4 strides, you're in trouble. If you're in the clear, you'll make the 4 strides. And I think that's why I ended up landing on 3 Outlaws, just because I think he'll be there. And then the 7, Riken, I thought had a lot of speed last time, probably went entirely too fast. And if you can somehow be a little bit more efficient on the trip with the 7 Riken at 20-1, I think that horse could kind of help make the tries and the supers a little bit more attractive.
Yeah, big price. Dave Dong's having a sensational meet here. Just 16% winners, but everything seems to be running. He's hit the board with more than half of his starters. Dave's having a really good meet. Always good to see Dave in the winner's circle.
Declan Carroll shows up here as well, the bug, and obviously I think he'll probably be aggressive with this one. He's a 20-1 shot. I like horses that I need to get to the front that are prices because I think the riders are a little bit less hesitant to make a mistake going too fast. If they go out there and they go too fast, they're 20-1, no one's mad at them. You go out there, you go too fast, and you're 5-2, the world's mad at you. So I like horses like Riken in this spot to get forward and to take advantage of these turf sprints. This one doesn't have a ton of speed in it.
Yeah. I like a horse that's going to be a middle pricing thing. I think Albie's going to be dangerous on the cutback. He went the mile the last 2 times, once at Saratoga around the 2 turns, here at Belmont last time around the 1 turn. The race 2 back at Saratoga was one of those Stallion Series races. He ran against Rinaldi and Funny Guy. Funny Guy came back to win. Then he came back here to the 1 turn. They took the blinkers off last time, and it just didn't work. He didn't have any kind of pop turn for home. Now they cut him back to the 7. The blinkers go back on. He makes his first start for Carlos Martin. He's getting come dancing ready as one of the favorites for the filly and mare sprint on Breeders' Cup Saturday. We wish Carlos the best of luck. His first Breeders' Cup runner from one of the most historic racing families, of course, Dad Jose, father Hall of Famer Frank Pancho Martin. Jose should be in the Hall of Fame as well. I like the blinkers going back on. I like the cutback for this horse. Javier climbs aboard. Nothing against Johnny. I mean, it's a more than suitable replacement for John Velasquez, Javier Castellano. I thought with Riken in here, there'll definitely be some pace on in here. A couple of others horses have some early speed. I am hoping Albie's a little closer and has the first jump maybe on the first speed. And at 7 or 8-1, I think he's worth a little shot today.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Everything you said. And I like the second off of the break as well.
Yeah.
It was kind of a long break. Not a long break, but it was a significant break. Comes back, changing equipment. He'll be a little bit tighter this time. The reason that I ended up not using him was I don't like when horses get great trips. He got that nice pocket trip, and then they don't fire. Now, look. There's a lot of reasons why. The blinkers, it was first off a layoff. There's a lot of reasons why he can run better today than he did then, but that's one of the reasons why I pushed back. I try not to bet horses that got the trip I hope they were getting if I bet them. And that's how I thought that Albie's trip was last time, but makes a ton of sense.
All right. Wide open race number 6. We have 6 of the 12 in our top selections. These state-bred, the turf sprints, if there's a chink in my armor, people would say there are a lot of chinks in my armor, but for me, it's the turf sprints. I have a tough time with them.
You know what? I had to change my approach in turf sprints, and it helped. And I just find horses that are going to be forward. I find horses that have fast figures. I find horses that are fast, and I usually will fall into situations that it works out. Now, there's those painful moments where I get snapped by a horse that comes flying because it falls apart, but more often than not, it's horses that are forward that win those races, and that was the thing that kind of helped me along with them. And I don't mind them as much as most.
No, I've gotten. We can coexist at this point. It used to be I wanted to be on the other side of the room, but we can coexist now. I'm all right with them. More state breds. Race number 7. To the dirt we go. 6.5 furlongs, $40,000 tags. 2 other end. Conditions. One of the horses in for the allowance. He's looking to go right through his condition here, having taken the A other end last time. Is this horse right here? Admondson from the rail. Horacio De Paz, Javier Castellano, again, going to jump aboard this horse. John Velasquez rode last time. Here he is, alternating on the lead with a pretty fast Lutski. Going to get the money here under Johnny.
Lutski's a fast horse as well, down in Gulfstream. I know that horse had a big performance. The thing I liked about this race was Amundsen spent a lot of time down on the inside. And I don't think you want to be down there. They ran pretty quick early. He showed some gameness here for Johnny. Johnny had a great day that day, and obviously switches back to Javier. I like this horse in this spot. I just don't like the draw. If he was drawn outside, I'd have picked him. But being down on the inside with London House, it's probably going to pressure at some point. I feel like in that same scenario, he's going to have that same trip. But the difference this time is Caretaker will be running on the outside, and that's who I think will get up to snap him there.
You kind of feel like Admondson from the inside. He's forced today. And there's some other speed in here. Jonathan mentioned London House. Here's London House. The last time he walked onto the racetrack in the afternoon, it was way back in February, back at the Big A across town, just 8.5 miles away. This was 2 in a row for London House, and for a horse that had just turned 3, he pops an 86 Beyer speed figure here. Never really in doubt this afternoon, and brokers made it at 7.5 to 1. Got the job done here at almost 7 to 2.
Green as well in the wrong lead, just switched right there if you were watching on the screen. And you know, that's just an energy thing. If he would have switched earlier, he might have ran faster and opened up faster. And so I thought that he was the reason why I got off of Amundsen, who I like down on the inside. But I just felt like London House is gonna pressure. And we talked earlier in the show about how I really like those 2-year-olds turning 3. You can still apply it with an early 3-year-old. Now he's a late 3-year-old. You should have that natural progression just with maturity, getting older, and figuring it out a little bit.
Yeah, as a March foal, he was just about turning 3 in actuality when he ran that effort last time out. If he comes back with a race like the one last time out, he's going to be really tough in here. I wanted to say I fell for him, because off of those 2 big efforts, I mean, you see the daylight scores. He improved his races. I mean, he went from a 40 to a 56 to a 77 to an 86. If he keeps moving forward, you know, and listen, it's a big break. It's the middle of February. We're in the middle of October now, so you're looking at an 8-month break. But if he comes back, and there's nothing to say he won't. Steve's barn, Asmussen Barn's been going very well. Toby Sheets is setting him on fire here. 6 for 14 coming into today. You know, some big efforts from that barn as well. I thought this horse made a lot of sense, and I think he might be 3 to 1 this afternoon, because I think Admondson's going to take money, and your horse right here. Here's the Caretaker getting the job done last time here at Belmont Park under Manny Franco. This was for Ray Handel, claimed out of that by Rob Atras. Jose Lascano, who was aboard London House for his last 2, takes over the controls today.
Yeah, I missed a break in that race a little bit. Came running. The track was actually pretty good inside that day, I thought. And so running on the outside here, I thought the Caretaker was going to get the setup that he needed with London House and Amundsen hooking up early in this race. And if you notice, he's the only one that's in for the tag. He's the one. He's won 5 won 5 races, and so obviously he had to be entered for the tag to be able to run in this spot. And so a horse that knows how to find the winner's circle. He's been claimed in 2 of his last starts. And I think he's going to get a setup here, and it should be a much better price than the other 2. I would imagine London House will go shorter than him.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that horse players and the public love seeing 1s. And when they see 1s with big numbers next to them, they like those even more. And London House has the 15-link lead, or 15-link win and the 5-link win. Steve Asmussen, Manny Franco, leading rider. I think this horse will take a little bit of money.
All right. We'll see if the public sides with the 3-year-olds, the speedy Admondson and London House, or they go for old reliable, the Caretaker. An interesting feature here on Friday afternoon. Wrap the card with race number 8, maiden claimers on the turf, $40,000 tags. You could take out the also eligible FICA, who was the 5 to 2 morning line favorite. So interesting bunch of maidens in here. I wanted to go 4 deep. I felt comfortable with 4, 5, 8, 9. Double Happiness, drop down from Mott from the maiden special weight to the maiden claimers. I really didn't have anything else for you. We have the same 4 horses. Okay.
Yeah, same 4 horses out of order. These races it's all about class to me with these spots. When you're looking for these horses that are dropping in for the 40, first thing I do is who ran maiden special weight, who was bet maiden special weight, and who ran okay maiden special weight. And that's the first thing I start with, and then I start working backwards from there. And already celebrating, didn't run that well maiden special weight, but I thought ran extremely well last time, first time for 40, was inside, was closing into a slow pace, and like I talked about earlier, my favorite trips in turf are closing into slow paces because I don't think the public sees those as much. Everyone sees when they get steadied and they're standing up. Everyone sees when they're stuck down on the inside or they're 19 wide, but when they're closing into a slow pace, I think that's a hidden trip.
Yeah, 11-month break as well. That was a big effort first off the layoff into the claim box for the first time. Yeah, Forrester Coles had some chances. Javier was aboard last time. Kind of just lost contact early. Big expense, opened up the huge lead. Just kind of lost contact. I don't really see anybody doing that in here. 87 North was the one that was probably in closest proximity last time. Didn't do much firing. That was first off the David on claim. Kind of just ran in place around there, I felt, but has some representative races. And like I said, the Mott drop down. You and I just have the 2 top picks flip-flopped in here.
Yeah, I want to use as much as I can in these races that make sense. I try not to reach. I try not to reach for like firsters in these maiden 40s because it's just guessing. I try to just find horses that have some form, find horses that are dropped to win, or find horses that are at the level running with their friends. And that's how I felt about the top 4 choices in this race. Thought the line was right, the morning line was right, and I thought one of those 4 is going to win. And I thought that our 2 top choices were the most likely winner. So, look, and in these spots when you're playing pick 5s and pick 4s and pick 6s and wrapping up, I think having as much coverage as you can late is a comfortable feeling. And I try to single if I can, but in spots like this, you just can't.
No, you're a daredevil if you're trying to single in the finale today. This was a lot of fun. We'll do it again one of these days.
Absolutely.
All right. Head over to Naira Bets. That's where you have to go. Try and take advantage of all of this wisdom we imparted on you this morning into afternoon. Bet 200, get 200. Fall 19. It feels like it here the last few days at beautiful Belmont Park. Get your brand new account. Use that promo code FALL19, bet 200 to get 200. You can put the money in your account now. Make your deposits with Apple Pay. They are fast, easy, and secure. NairaBets.com/Apple Pay for more details. 10 times the points when you use that Naira Bets account on all late pick 5 bets today. Friday, you got one more opportunity after today to do that next Friday, because we have just about, including today, 8 racing days left here at Belmont Park. One of them is tomorrow, Empire Showcase Day, the 3rd day exclusive to New York Breds for the year. The original right here. This is the OG, Empire Showcase Day. 8 stakes tomorrow, 12:20 first post. Gates open at 11. 11 races in all. Should be a fantastic day. We have the farmers market and all the goodies in the backyard tomorrow as well, all New York related. Try and make some money tomorrow, and then send me $80 for the Breeders' Cup Bash. Wednesday, October 30th, 7 to 10, 10:30. King Umberto's right down the road, right down Hempstead Turnpike here. It'll be myself, Maggie Wolfendale, Steve Grabowski. We'll handicap all 14 Breeders' Cup races. Again, $80. Preferred method of payment is PayPal. You get a 4-course meal, PPs for the classic, souvenir bag. The Big Ace to Beal at AOL.com on PayPal, or you can email me. The address is right there, the Big Ace to Beal at AOL.com. We will figure out other means if you do not PayPal. Weekend Stakes Preview presented by Naira Bets tonight on the Horse Racing Radio Network, 6 to 7 p.m. Steve Grabowski and I have a dozen stakes, 7 here from Aqueduct, 6 of those races tomorrow, and our Athenia on Sunday. Great job, my friend. We'll do it again soon.
You said a dozen steaks. I thought you were talking about like the ones you can eat, and then I realized you're talking about the ones that
I'm not a steaks guy. A dozen shrimp, dozen chicken palms, that's a different story. We got to go. Larry Comas, the one and only, is upstairs waiting to give you a reprise of the scratches and changes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, welcome to beautiful Belmont Park, where the skies are sunny, temperatures are in the upper 50s. The main track is fast. The turf course good, with the rails at 27 feet on the inner and the Widener turf courses for today's racing program. $89,663 is the Empire 6 jackpot carryover. It'll be on races 3 through 8 on today's card. And here now are the changes for today's races. In the first race today,